In this video, we discuss the electric field of a point charge particle. So, if we have the point charge, how much is the electric field at the distance r? That will be our task. Okay. Now, when we say point charge, it is a solid particle. Then it has a charge at the surface of that. Now, there are other particles that are not solid. So, non-point charge is actually, for example, ring charge cannot be considered as a point charge. Also, the line charge cannot be considered as a point charge. The desk also is not a point charge. So, in this video alone, we will discuss the electric field using the point charge or the electric field at a distance of a point charge particle. Now, in the next video, we will discuss the electric field of a non-point charge particle. Okay, so before that, we will have to define what is electric field. Okay? Electric field is actually the amount of force applied to a charge within the region of the source charge. So, therefore, the electric field actually is the intensity, the amount of force applied to that charge, and whatever the direction of the field, whatever direction of the force will be the direction of the electric field, or using the positive discharge, and the charge must be Q naught. Okay, now to understand is, if we have this charge, and this is charged by Q, and this is positively charged, the question is, how much is the electric field at the distance r? That will be our task. Now, take note that this charge will provide a so-called charge distribution, and the charge distribution will provide the electric field lines. So, to understand what is electric field lines and what is the direction of the field lines, we need to identify how much the electric field, the magnitude and its direction at that point at the radius r from the source. So, in order to answer, we need to place the positive discharge. Okay, so we have this positive discharge. Now, take note that this positive discharge will interact to the charge Q. In our previous video, we studied how to calculate the amount of force using the Coulomb's law, and we understand that if we have positive same charges and we have this, it will be repelled. So the force must be an outward force from the charge, move towards each other, away from each other. So we have this force. Okay. Now, take note that in the presence of the charge, and because of this distribution, this will generate electric field. There is an electric field at that point, and that electric field is the intensity, meaning the amount of force applied to this charge. So therefore, we have that electric field, which is the same direction as the force. Why? Because this is what? This is positive discharge. Now, what will happen if this is negative discharge? So if this is negative discharge, the result becomes what? This force will be towards discharge, because positive attracts. So the force must be in this direction, but the electric field still the same. So meaning you can place positive discharge or a negative discharge in that place. So if your discharge is positive, then whatever direction of the force will be the same direction of the electric field. But if you bring negative discharge, the electric field is in opposite direction of the force. Okay? So, if we divide the amount of force by the discharge, positive discharge, the result is the electric field. Okay? Now, therefore, because we divide the force by the discharge, then the unit must be what? The unit of electric field must be Newton per Coulomb, because the force is in Newton and the unit should be in Coulomb. So The unit is Newton per Coulomb. The amount of force for a given charge is actually the intensity of the electrostatic intensity. The amount of force applied to that charge. So we have the intensity at this point. So the intensity is actually measures the amount of force per unit charge. Okay? So take note that force is a vector. Then it follows that electric field is also a vector, because in the principle of vector analysis, if you divide or multiply the vector and a scalar, the result is always a vector. So therefore, since f is a vector and is scalar, then the result is also a vector. Hence, electric field is a vector quantity. It has a magnitude and it has the direction. So we will now consider its magnitude alone. So if we say that our force is a magnitude and we have this the charge, dividing the magnitude of the force by the charge, we have the magnitude of the electric field also. So we will derive how much is the magnitude of electric field at the distance r. Remember that at any point here, or at the same radius r from the source, you have the same electric field. Why? Because you have the same force. So the electric field must be the same. So therefore, how much is that force? And what will be the requirement in order to solve for the magnitude of force? Now one requirement is, if that force is given, divide it by that charge. Take note, because we are concerned at this point, you can calculate electric field provided you have this force magnitude and then we have this charge. Okay? Do not divide the source charge, because we are concerned at this point. At that point is unique. No? The electric field is the force at that point and the charge. So therefore, now what will happen if force is not given? Okay? Now all you need to do is to take note that the force in previous video can be calculated using Coulomb's law. So 1 over 4 pi permittivity, take note that the interacting charges are Q and Q naught, and the distance between them is R. So replace the force here with this value of force, will result this expression. So take note that this Q naught can be cancelled here, because this is the same as the charge Q naught. So therefore, the electric field is equal to 1 over 4 pi permittivity Q over R squared. And this is the magnitude of the electric field. Now notice that in order to calculate the magnitude of electric field, it requires only two parameters. What are they? In order to obtain the electric field at any point of that surrounding of the charge distribution, it requires only the charge, the source charge, or the point charge, and its distance away from. No need to have the discharge. So therefore, you can bring any charge here, and you can calculate the electric field, provided you have the distance r and you have the charge. That's all. Okay. So if you evaluate the unit of this formula, still you will arrive the Newton per Coulomb. Remember, this is 1 over 4 pi permittivity is 9 times 10 raised to 9 times 10 raised to 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb squared. So it will come up with Newton per Coulomb. This is only the magnitude, and the vector form must be what? The magnitude of that electric field. This is the magnitude of the electric field, then multiplied by the unit vector. The unit vector in this case is actually tending to have away from the source charge. So this must be multiplied by the unit vector r, and this is r hat because this is unit vector, and this might be involved in terms of I hat, J hat, and K hat, or both. Okay, so these formulas can be applied only for what? For a point charge only. This cannot be applied in a ring charge, in a line charge, in a desk charge. This is only for a point charge. Okay, so now, what will happen if we are looking for the electric field which is closer from this distance? So suppose we have this we are asked to calculate the amount of electric field which is closer. So most probably, the electric field now is greater. The electric field compare previous, this will provide greater amount of electric field because this is closer to the charge. And the force, take note that it is increasing towards the charge and decreasing away from the charge because of the Coulomb's law principle. So electric field is actually can be calculated because of that R. So it has a greater amount. So if you rotate this discharge around at different distances, then it will come up with a charge distribution that results electric field. So the amount of electric field actually depends on R. Depends on R. So suppose we have here, we have electric field at that point, and it is different electric field at this point, and different electric field at this point. Different radius have different electric field. Although they have the same charge, but different charges, different distances provides different electric field. The smaller the R distance from the charge, the greater the electric field. The greater the electric field, or the greater the radius, the smaller the electric field. Okay. Now we notice that the charge distribution is away. Okay, the electric field is away from the positive discharge. Now what will happen if this is negative discharge? What will be the direction of the electric field lines? By the way, these are the field lines. So to answer is, so we have this positive negative discharge. So all you need to do again, in order to obtain the electric field at that point, we have to bring the positive discharge. Okay, now remember that this is positive and this is negative. So the force must be what? The force must be towards the charge. Now, what is the direction of electric field at that point? Again, because this is positive discharge, the electric field will be what? The electric field will be the same as the direction of the electric force. Okay. So therefore, the electric field is towards the negative discharge. Now, suppose I bring negative discharge here. So if this negative discharge and this is negative source charge, so the force must be what? The force must be in opposite direction. So it is tend to move away, but the electric field is, take note, is the same direction. Why? Because for negative discharge, force must be an electric field must be in opposite direction. But for a positive discharge, the direction of the force and electric field will be the same as the direction of the force. Okay. So if you rotate again this charge around this negative discharge, it will provide a charge distribution which is inward distribution. Inward. So if you place a charge here, that charge will tend to move inward. But this one, if you place a discharge here, it will move outward. Because in a positive charge, the electric field is outward, and a negative discharge, the electric field or the charge distribution due to this charge is actually an inward direction. And this is all about the intensity. So take note that the greater the charge, the greater the electric field. So if you have more charge, you have more electric fields. Now what will happen if we move these two charges close to each other? What will be the, because this is positive alone and this is negative alone, what will happen if we interact the two charges? What will be the, because this is so called as the superposition of electric field. But the electric field that can be formed of these two, suppose we have the same charges but it differs in sign, so we call this an electric dipole. So electric dipole has the same magnitude but it has an opposite sign. So therefore, what will be the field lines? Field lines becomes what? Becomes this direction. So this is towards, okay? So in the positive it is away, and in the negative it is towards each other. So the curve now, instead of having a straight line, because of this, it will curve until it will connect, and this will be most likely the form of the field lines for what? For an electric dipole. So an electric dipole again has the same magnitude but an opposite sign. Okay, so This is a kind of dipole, so we have this. Now what will happen if we have the same charge? Positive, positive, or negative, negative. For positive, positive, take note that it won't touches the lines along this in between of this charge. These two lines cannot be intersect. So unlike this one, it will connect and it will move towards negative, away from. This one is, it will move away, but it will it doesn't have the contact in the field lines of the other charge. So there is a boundary limits between these two. This a division that they can connect each other. So this is an outward. If it's negative, negative, then the arrow will reverse the same the curve of the field lines, but for negative, negative, the arrow will be towards, and this is outward. Okay, so these are the electric field lines. Here comes the problem. So suppose we are given the charge a negative 8 nanocoulomb at the origin of the Cartesian, and we are looking for how much is the electric field at the point in the fourth quadrant whose abscissa is 1.8 and the ordinate is 1.6. So this is in the fourth quadrant. How much is the electric field and what is the direction? So when we say find the electric field vector, present your answer in terms of I hat, j hat. Because the electric field in a vector form defines the full description of that vector. It has the magnitude and it has the direction. Okay? So to answer this problem is actually we have to imagine that we are putting a discharge on that point. Ignore that we cannot calculate electric field. We cannot detect the electric field without the discharge, but this is just an imaginary. We don't need the magnitude of this. Take note that when you look at the formula, there is no discharge as long as you have the R and we have the charge. So to answer is, so with this we have no idea that the electric field is what? Electric field is to move towards each other because of this positive and this negative, because the force is positive and this is positive discharge. Okay, now first thing to do is to calculate the magnitude. So if you have the magnitude, in order to solve the vector, after calculating the magnitude, you have to multiply the unit. The unit vector, take note, is in this direction. So the unit vector, remember, the unit vector is a vector whose magnitude is 1. So after calculating the magnitude, find the unit vector and multiply them. Or have the component, because we have the x component and we have the y component of the ex, then that's it. So you have to express that in terms, their component in terms of unit vector. There are two ways to solve for the vector, for any vector. So what is the requirement to provide the magnitude? We need the charge of that point charge and we need the radius. So we need this one. How much is this distance from this point toward that point? Okay? The answer is very simple. Take note that this is a right triangle. A right triangle whose hypotenuse is r and whose opposite, we have this angle as a side as 1.6 and this is 1.2. Because this is, remember, a rectangle, we cut a diagonal, whatever distance there is the same as distance. So therefore, r using the Pythagorean theorem is 90 degrees. Okay? So this is a square root of 1.2 squared plus 1.6 squared. Then calculate, and the answer is 2 centimeters, which means that this point is 2 centimeters away from the center of this charge. So with this, we can now compute the magnitude of the electric field. Remember, 1/4 pi permittivity is constant, 9 times 10 raised to 9. And this is 8 nanocoulomb. And this is r squared. And this is 2 centimeters. So substituting the values, take note this is constant. And this is our 8 nanocoulomb. But we need to multiply times 10 to the 9. Why? Because this is nano. We need to convert this to coulomb. So nanocoulomb converted to coulomb, it is just simply as multiplying the 10 times 10 raised to negative 9. Because negative 9 is nano. If this is micro, this is negative 6. Okay? We already experienced this in our previous video. Now this 2 is, this is the 2 centimeters. But 2 centimeters can be should be converted into what? uh, meters. So in order to convert meter, we need to multiply 10 raised to negative 2. And this should be raised to 2 because this is according to the formula. So use your calculator to do this, and it will provide 180,000 Newton per coulomb. You have to double check this using your calculator. So therefore, we can say that the magnitude of E is 180,000 Newton per coulomb. Okay. So therefore, we have already the magnitude of this force. Now next is, okay, there are two ways. The first method, we can, because we have this, then we can solve for the unit vector. Or take note that this is the vector E. So it has two components along X, and we have the along Y. So take note that the component of vector are also vectors. So therefore, this is towards negative x-axis, and this is towards the positive y-axis, AX. These are all vectors. So vector sum, this is not arithmetic sum, this is a vector sum. So therefore, E is the vector sum of EX plus EY. And take note, geometric sum is for the vector sum. So we have to consider the angle. So take note that the x component of E can be expressed in terms of unit vector by what? Finding its magnitude along X. And we have this negative I hat, y negative I hat, because this is from this point moving towards negative x-axis. Take note that towards right positive, towards left. And we use I because the unit vector assigned in the x-axis is I hat. And this one, the magnitude of EY, which is the component of electric field along Y, magnitude. And we have this multiplied by the unit vector J hat, because this is upward. That's it. Okay? So, therefore, we can solve for the vector if we have this EX and EY. Now, what is EX and EY? EX and EY are the component of E along X and along Y. And we have this, remember, we have this magnitude. So, in order to come up with the components along X and along Y, we need the angle. Because the angle, remember, we can use the angle to use the component along X and along Y. We have already, take note, we have this R. No? So, we need, aside from R, we need theta. So, where is your theta? Your theta must be this angle. This is the angle. Now, how much is this angle? We can calculate this angle because this is, take note, this is 1.6. So, this is 1.6 and this is 1.2. And this is right triangle. So, to calculate the angle is you have to use the inverse tangent. And it's 1.6 over 1.2. So, calculate and the answer is 53.13 degrees. So, this angle is coming from what? From the x-axis towards the electric field. Okay, with that, we can now solve for EX and we can now solve for EY. Take note, in our previous videos, the X component uses the cosine and the Y component uses sine. Why? Because this is reference angle. So do it for E, magnitude, take note positive because we this is magnitude, so ignore the sign. So we have E cosine theta, or by the way, change this to P because we use this P. So this must be what? 53.13 degrees. So substitute n values, the magnitude and the cosine of 53 results 108,000 Newton per coulomb. Now for Y component, we have E sine P. Again, change this to P. And this is equal to what? 180 sine 53.13 degrees. So calculate 144,000 Newton per coulomb. So these are the components. Magnitude of the components of electric field. Now we are now ready to replace this value, substitute it here, then simplify, and we come up with this result. Take note, no negative in the first term, so let's do it. So we have the negative, and we have the grouping symbol, 108,000 I hat minus 144,000 J hat. This is the electric field at a point of abscissa 1.2 and 1.6 in the quadrant 4 of the Cartesian, whose charge is negative 8 nanocoulomb. So take note, This will provide a complete description. It has a magnitude and it has a direction. Now, to verify this answer, if you want to verify this, you can solve for the magnitude. Remember that in our previous video, we can easily define the magnitude of this vector by simply taking square root. So if you take square this one, square this, then add, then take square root, the answer is 180,000. And if you divide this 144 by 100,000 by 108,000, then take the inverse tangent, the answer is actually 53.13. So that's it. Again, this is the answer to the problem presented. Okay. So what will happen now if we have the superposition of electric field? What is superposition of electric field? Now, in similar way, in our previous video, we have the superposition of electric force. So the superposition of electric force are what? The forces that acts on one charge. So in this case, the superposition of electric field is we are quantifying the amount of electric field at a point of the charge distributions, but this time there are more than two or more charges that surrounds this point. So what will happen? How will you answer if you're asked what is the electric field at the origin with the presence of these charges? We have the positive charge, negative charge, positive charge, charge 1, charge 2, charge 3. So all you need to do, okay, you can use the same formula, okay, but you have to analyze it one at a time. So all you need to do, take note that this is positive charge, so with respect to this point, the electric field must be away from this point, so it should be, so you have to calculate the magnitude of this point, then provide its unit vector as direction, so we can find this one. So in short, we can do this provided we have this Q1 and we have R1. That's the requirement. Okay, now next is analyze it again. So ignore this charge 1, consider only charge 2, ignore charge 3. So considering this 2 or this, and we have to remember, you have an imaginary charge here. This is positively charged. So positive discharge, positive repel. So this must be the electric field, and call this as E2. So you have to find the magnitude of E2, then the unit vector. Okay, in this case, this is along negative I, very easy to have the unit vector. This is negative I hat will be multiplied by the magnitude of it. The magnitude can be calculated using our formula derived previously. Now next is we have the third electric field. So this is due to charge 3. The E3 is the electric field due to charge 3. This is negative. So it should must be inward, because you can imagine here a positive discharge. So therefore it should be in this direction. So then the same process, calculate the magnitude, find the direction. Okay. So by the way, this is not given to the problem. So in the problem, this might be given angle. So then you can do it. So okay, so we call this as the superposition of electric field. There are 2 or more electric field at that point. So superposition is the name of the game. So to answer, the magnitude of this E1, remember, is the electric field due to charge 1, E2 is the electric field due to charge 2, E3 is the electric field due to charge 3. To compute its magnitude of these 3 electric fields, you can use this formula. So it differs with distance, it differs with charge. And the direction was already assigned because of this charge. Okay, so you can ignore the sign of the charges, then substitute as the magnitude of the electric field. Now, after calculating this one with the magnitude and its direction, I have already provided the unit vector. All you need to do is to come up with what? With the vector sum, the geometric sum. Again, this is not an arithmetic sum. So you have to find a vector sum, because E, actually, the sum of the electric fields at this point is the vector sum of E1, E2, E3. So with that, you can now calculate the magnitude and direction of that electric field. That's it. This is the superposition of electric field. Okay? Now, for your practice, I think this is a good problem for you to solve. So, for the superposition, so do it the same, just like what we did in our previous video. So, the difference between the previous video is the formula, because In the previous, we use the force. This one, we use the electric field. So we need only one charge because our electric field formula requires the charge and its radius. So you have to find this one. Okay, this is given. And this one, since you have 50 degrees and 3 centimeters, you can compute this side. So this is your R2. Your R3 is 5 cm. Your R1 is 6 cm. So then that's it. So because this is negative and this is positive discharge, so therefore the electric field is in direction. This one, because this is positive and outward, so therefore it should be away. This is an outward, so this should be, we have 3 electric fields. E1 is towards X, E2 is in the third quadrant, E3 is along the negative Y. That's it. Then find a vector sum. Okay? So, good luck. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video.